Good morning and good afternoon to everyone. We're about to begin. Um, I will ask for everyone to join us and open the GoToWebinar application and check the screen. We will begin right now. Welcome to the Global Youth Dialogue. This is the second dialogue we're organizing on this campaign titled Youth Voices from the World. This is towards the 2016 Global Youth Forum organized by the World Bank and hosted by the Global Partnership for Youth in Development. So let's begin. Right now, I'm going to show you my screen just to mention a couple of interesting facts before we begin. And I was talking to you a little bit before we began the session. Today we have participants from all over the world. We have people from Grenada, we have people from Africa, people from Central America. In South America, we have people from Argentina. We have also people from Paraguay. In Central America, we have people from El Salvador. We also have people from Mexico. The rest of the continent, we have people from the United States. And of course, we have people from other parts of the world, such as Tunisia. We have a large group in Tunisia. So this will make for a very interesting dialogue between every participant. And of course, we're going to have various different opinions and very different contexts and realities, so that will make for a very rich dialogue. So once again, welcome. My name is Jose Cloutier. I'm the Program Officer for the Young America's Business Trust. We are the organization that is implementing this global youth consultation towards the Global Youth Forum of the World Bank that will take place on the June 13th, 14th, and 15th. So let's begin. I'm sharing with you a presentation which we will follow through as much as we can. We have we're going to have some welcoming remarks. For that, I will open the microphone to Teresa Gonzalez. She is as well Program Officer of the Young America's Business Trust, and she's my colleague who we've been working closely to implement this youth consultation. So Teresa, if you're able to hear me, you can go ahead. Your microphone is open, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Jose. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you today. I just wanted to share a few words before we kick off the dialogue. First of all, congratulate you for your leadership and drive. We know that it is not easy to bring your voice to a forum like this. It's not easy to organize other young people in your countries and bring their perspectives here. So first of all, congratulations for your leadership. YBT is very proud to partner today and during this process with the World Bank, as Jose mentioned, and with the Global Partnership for Youth in Development to bring together youth voices from around the world and spark a global conversation as we lead up for the World Bank Global Youth Forum that is happening from June 13 to 15 in the World Bank headquarters here in Washington, D.C. I just wanted also to share a few thoughts that we've been hearing around in the conversation in social media that has been happening during these days. People are talking that this is a great opportunity to represent issues and priorities on topics like education, like health, also employment, youth employment, climate change, technology, migration, policy making, democracy, and others. So being here today on this dialogue is a very unique opportunity to represent your priorities, to talk about your challenges, your dreams, but also to speak up and raise your voice for other young people. We know that unfortunately not everyone can be here today, so being here is a huge responsibility as well. As well, some ideas. This is also an amazing moment to leverage new media and technology, to use them as tools to advance the youth agenda in the local level where you're working, but also to scale it to the global level. as we are bringing young people to the forefront of the process to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals that were adopted by all the countries at the UN starting this year. This is also an opportunity to share experiences, to build networks, and to make new connections. Why not maybe friends, as we learn from each other's processes, impact, and solutions that are working in your different realities. Your inputs, your ideas, and your perspectives are going to be shared with other young people from around the world, but also other generations, perhaps a younger generation, the one that is coming, that will take the lead after we all become adults. But also, I'm sure there are here adults that are keeping an eye on our conversation, since this world belongs to all generations. So just have that in mind. Perhaps someone out there, other young people are looking for inspiration and ways to solve the issues that are affecting their context. So once again, thank you for being here. Enjoy the dialogue. And with that being said, Jose, you have the floor to kick off our dialogue. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Thank you for very inspiring words and for those welcoming remarks. We're going to go ahead and go on to the next section. As you can see on the screen, we're going to talk a little bit about the agenda. I'm going to go through it very quickly. This was something I shared with you yesterday. I shared with you an agenda through an email. We're just going to go through it quickly so we can have fresh in our minds how the dynamic of the dialogue will go. So we're doing the welcoming remarks right now. Afterwards, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Global Youth Forum. We're going to give you a little bit more context about what will be discussed at the forum here in Washington, D.C. After that, we're going to do some brief presentations. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, so that we can begin the first round of interventions at 10:20 a.m. So just in a couple of minutes from now, we're going to do a first round of interventions that should last around 40 minutes. And after that, we're going to have a second round of interventions, which will be more of a reaction, and participants may also want to add some things to the discussion after that first intervention. So that second round of interventions will take place at 11 a.m. It will be around 25 minutes. After that, we're going to have the closing section of the dialogue, which will be the conclusions and the next steps. So we'll be ending around 11:30 a.m. The dialogue should last around 1 hour and a half. Note here that the agenda is subject to change. We left that in just so that we know that this may take longer, and that is exactly what we're hoping, that we have a lot to say and a lot to hear, many opinions. So it doesn't matter if we don't stick to this particular schedule. So that's the agenda for today. You should have this on your email. If not, I can also share it with you afterwards. Let me go back to the presentation, and we can move on to the next bullet point, which is the methodology. This is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the methodology of the dialogue, how the dynamic is going to work. We're going to be we're going to do everything in order so that everyone can speak, and we can also have back and forth conversation. So for the methodology, the moderator, which is me, will open the floor for each participant in an orderly fashion. So how we're going to manage to do it in an orderly fashion? Well, there's a button on your control panel that looks like a hand. It is a hand. It's the raised hand button. So when you push that button, it's going to let me know that you want to speak. And on order, the first person who presses that button is going to be the first person who speaks. The second person is going to be the second person who speaks, and so on. So in that way, we're going to have an order. And that way, I'm going to be able to know who wants to speak, and I'm going to be able to unmute their microphone, and they're going to be able to make their intervention, to talk. So each participant will have around 3 minutes to share their story, his or her experience in youth development activities. You should be clear and concise. Remember that it's better to go straight to the point and talk about your experience, about your background, and what you want to bring to this conversation. It is important to know that the microphone will only be unmuted when you're making your intervention, so we can keep order and people can have their time when they're speaking without anyone interrupting. So after those general rules, what we're going to do right now, it's the next section is going to be the brief presentation of participants. For that, I'm going to go ahead and unmute for the people that are able to use the microphone. I'm going to unmute you, and you should briefly introduce yourself. Just provide the relevant information. This could be age, gender, nationality. If you're representing an organization, you should go ahead and tell us, hey, I'm representing this organization, this is what we're doing. Just very brief. You'll be able to talk more on the first round of interventions. So that's the brief presentations. We're going to begin that in a couple of minutes, so be sure and be ready to introduce yourself. You should take only a minute. It's going to be quick, just so we know who's in the conversation and where are you from. So the first round of interventions. Regarding the first round of interventions, it's going to be this first session where you're going to be able to participate, to make your intervention. So on that first round of interventions, you're going to raise the hand first, so I can unmute your microphone, and then you can begin and talk through this 3-4 minutes where you can tell us more about who you are, what you're doing, how you're helping this global youth process of development, how you want to include your opinion and your recommendations on this dialogue. Of course, we have a couple of suggested questions that I'm going to show on the screen. I also shared these questions with you yesterday that may, if you want, can guide your intervention. You may want to answer these questions. You may want to answer just one of these questions, or just go ahead and answer all of them. It's up to you. This is more of a flexible conversation. So while we're doing the first round of interventions, you're going to see the questions on screen, and you can either choose to just go ahead and make your intervention as you had it planned, or you can go ahead and start answering these questions. Either way, it's going to be a really good intervention, I'm sure of it. So that's regarding the first round of interventions. The second round of interventions is going to be basically similar in the rules of the game. Just the difference in this second round of intervention is that we want the participants to react to the first round. So if someone said something that you agree with or that you might disagree with, this is the time where you push the raised hand button. We open the mic for you, and you can make a second intervention and just tell your reaction, tell your recommendations, engage with other participants. As Teresa was saying, this is a very important platform, international platform, where you can make these connections with people internationally, people from other continents or from other countries that may very well be future partners for youth and development activities. So that being said, the second round of interventions, it's not only going to be a second opportunity for you to speak and maybe tell us a little bit more about what you wanted to tell in the first round, but also to engage with other participants, to react to what other participants are saying, and also to provide your recommendations. So those are going to be the two round of interventions, and as the agenda said, after that we're going to do some brief conclusions. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the next steps, and that will be our dialogue. So right now it's 10:20, so we're really on schedule to go ahead and start the brief presentations. We're going to go ahead and go to those presentations just after I tell you a little bit about the Global Youth Forum, so we can get a little bit more into context of why we're here and what we plan to do. So the Global Youth Forum, the World Bank Global Youth Forum, this will be hosted by the Global Partnership for Youth and Development. This is a department within the World Bank, and they will gather more than 150 partners and representatives from the public and private sectors as well, civil society, young people themselves, to exchange new and innovative ideas and to support the actions of the global community. This will be the forum, the modus operandi of the forum is going to be open discussion, and they're going to discuss the most effective ways to address both opportunities and challenges facing young people, and to engage them, to engage these young people in youth development. The participants of the forum, the people that are going to be there participating in person, will learn new ways to support the transition of young people to adulthood and involve young people in efforts to achieve sustained, peaceful, and broad-based economic development. The key themes of the forum include the necessity of cross-sectoral collaboration, the vital importance of evidence to designing effective programs, and also the need to find innovative new solutions to achieve these objectives. The forum will address topics of fundamental importance to young people in the process of development, including the building blocks of education, health, employment, and the context-setting issues such as climate change, migration, and technology. And of course, the areas where policymakers are most concerned with people. These include voice, the voice of young people, governance, peace, and violence. Lastly, the forum will also encourage and build upon the active participation of young agents of change. Each plenary session will include the voices and views of young people and will elicit new ideas from young social entrepreneurs, global influencers, and activists. So that's a little bit of what I wanted to tell you about the Global Youth Forum, and here is the million-dollar questions. Are you guys going to be able to participate, and how? So here I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the ways you can participate. It's going to be very brief. We're going to talk about it afterwards in the conclusions and next steps. But basically today, after this youth dialogue, I will share with each participant a link where you're going to be able to register to the Global Youth Dialogue. So you're going to be able, if you're able to get to Washington, D.C., if you're able to come here, you're going to be able to participate of the forum. So I will be sharing with you that link, that registration link, where you can register yourself and take part of the forum, here live in Washington, D.C. And of course, we can do a one-to-one follow-up. You can follow up with me directly through my email, and we can talk about if you're able to make it here, and then we can do some follow-up on your participation. So that's regarding the registration for the Global Youth Forum here in Washington, D.C. from June 13th to the 15th. Also, for everyone who, and of course this is probably the majority of the people who are not able to make it, there's gonna be a live streaming of the event. Here on the presentation, I included the link. Of course, I will also share with you on the email that I'm going to send you after this dialogue has ended. Let me just give you a quick. I'll show you how it works. This link, it's going to be a live streaming session. As you can see on my screen right now, there's a live screening of another event they're doing right now. So it's going to look basically like this. It's a World Bank live stream, and you're going to be able to be a part of every session. There's an agenda for the forum, so you're going to be able to just log into the sessions that you wish to see, or if you want to see all of those, then we'll go ahead. It's going to be open for every session. So that's going to be a great way that you can participate, even if you're not able to travel to Washington, D.C. on the proposed dates. Also, I want to show you, here's the registration of the Global Youth Forum. I'm going to send you this link, so you're going to be able to register. Just a quick thing you need to do if you're able to travel and register. On this first question that says, who nominated you for the forum? You really need to type in here Young America's Business Trust, the name of our organization, so the World Bank can go ahead and identify you as a participant of the forum, and you're going to have no trouble in getting into it. So remember, if you're going to be able to travel DC on this registration form, on the Who Nominated You form, which is the first question, you need to type in Young America's Business Trust. There we go, business trust, and we're going to be able to follow up on that. Of course, you can send me an email, and we can go ahead and talk a little bit about your participation. So without further ado, let's go ahead. We're right now still on schedule. We're going to go ahead and start making the brief presentations of people that are here. So if I'm going to go ahead and name, tell you your name, and I'm going to let you know that I'm going to open your microphone so you can go ahead and make your presentation, your brief presentation of yourself. Just tell us your name, where you're from, if you're representing any organization, and your age, anything you wish to share, or even if there's something relevant you want to share with us, go ahead. So the first person, just a brief presentation, have here Delia Lisette Hueso Ponce. Delia, I'm going to unmute your microphone, so we're going to be able to hear you. If you're able to hear us right now, go ahead and just make a brief presentation of yourself. Go ahead.
Okay, hello, my name is Liz Hueso, or Delia Lisette Hueso. I'm a woman. I'm Mexican, and I'm representing the Tec de Monterrey. This is a university in Mexico, and we are working with a lot of young people, and we are trying to develop new ideas around the global goals of for sustainable development.
Thank you so much, Delia. Delia, it's a pleasure to have you here today. We're going to go ahead and move to the next person. If you're able to hear me, Carlos Guedes. Carlos, if you're able to hear us, please go ahead and make your presentation. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Carlos Guedes. I live in Brazil, and I didn't speak in English, but I understand. It's okay.
Okay, so we're gonna go. Thank you, Carlos. That was Carlos from Brazil. Carlos from Brazil. It's great you're being with us today. You have great English accent, so you can speak English. Thank you for that. We're gonna go ahead and open the floor to Diego Jacobo. Diego Jacobo, if you're able to hear us, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, do you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me?
Hear you.
Well, okay, thank you. Yes, my name is Diego Jacobo. I'm a 21-year-old male. I'm from El Salvador, and well, I'm part of the Central American Citizen Movement here in El Salvador. We try to participate, well, to promote 4 areas, that is gender equality, democracy, human rights, and the Central American culture in El Salvador and the other countries of Central America. And I'm very pleased to be here, and I'm looking forward for this dialogue, and well, thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Much, Diego. It's great to hear someone from the same country. I'm also from El Salvador, so thank you for being with us today. Okay, so Felicia Engazam, if you're able to hear us, Felicia, you have a muted microphone. If you can unmute it, we'll be more than happy to hear your brief presentation. Hello, Felicia.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys
Yes,
hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Felicia Engastam. I'm the co-founder of the PA Initiative, the Power African Youth Initiative, and I'm from Cameroon.
Thank you so much, Felicia. It's really good to hear you, and we're looking forward to your intervention soon. So we're going to go right ahead so we can keep on schedule. We have Guadalupe Nime. If you can hear us, I'm unmuting your microphone right now, and we're able to hear you, so go ahead.
Yes, hello. Yes, my name is Guadalupe Nime. I'm from Argentina. I'm a member of Red LAD, Red Latinoamericana de Jóvenes por la Democracia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guadalupe from Argentina. we're going to go ahead and give the word to Mr. Isa Karambiri. Go ahead, sir. I've unmuted your microphone. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm Isa Karambiri. I'm 29 years old. I'm a man from Burkina Faso. I'm a founder of Isa Karambiri Center for Development and Personal Efficiency. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Isa from Burkina Faso. We're adding countries to that list of international participants. That's great. So let's keep working the list. We have a couple more people that have logged in. We have right now Junior Makinda, a really good friend. He's also from the Power African Youth Initiatives. Junior, if you can unmute your microphone, we're going to be able to hear your brief presentation, your introduction. So go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Junior Makinda. I am from Cameroon and also the founder of Power African Youth Initiative, African organization based in New York City. And yeah, I'm from Cameroon. I'm 37 years old. Thank you. Happy.
Much, Junior. It's great having you here. We're gonna be really excited to hear about what Power African Youth Initiatives are doing and what they've done. Next, we have Karim Ben Abdallah. Karim, he's from Tunisia, and he's actually joining us from a really interesting place. I'm gonna show you a picture of where Karim is meeting and from where he's broadcasting his signal today. Karim from Tunisia, I'm going to unmute your microphone right now. If you can unmute from your side, we're going to be able to hear your presentation. Welcome. Hello, Karim. If you're able to hear me, you have... Hello, Karim. If you're able to hear me, you have a muted microphone. If you could unmute it from your side, click on the microphone. There we go. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. This is Karim, directly from Tunisia, from a very beautiful beach in northern Tunisia. I'm male. I'm 39. I'm the leader of very good, very young and authentic youth organization called Being Conference Tunisia. We work for different goals. We work for public speaking, for expression, work also with the UNDP for the global goals. I know that a lot of you know about them. And our organization is at 90%, of people with 20 years old average. So you can imagine how young it is.
Thank you so much for that, Karim. Karim from Build Conference Tunisia. It's great having you here. We're going to look forward to your intervention on the first round. Mr. Ken Avire, if you're able to hear me, your microphone is open and you can introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Ken. I'm just a recent graduate from college. I'm 28 years old now. From Cote d'Ivoire, we're USA, living in New York City. So yeah, I do think that to develop new ideas around the global goals of development within waste and compost. I do believe that youth need guidance, mentorship, and this is a tremendous opportunity, just a African initiative was. And I think I speak for all of us here when I say that we're certainly excited to take part in this fund. Thank you.
Ken, it's great having you here. Ken from Ivory Coast. Let's go ahead and go to Lynn Gonsalves. Lynn, if you're able to hear us, your microphone is unmuted. You can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Lynn Gonsalves. I'm calling from Toronto in Canada, and I'm representing Junior Achievement, JA Central Ontario.
Thank you so much, Lynn, and thank you also for your participation on the recently Twitter chat. Junior Achievement Worldwide was one of the special guests of the Twitter chat we hosted on June 1st. So it's really great to have someone from Junior Achievement. We're going to go ahead and talk to Maria Felix de la Luz. Maria Felix, if you're able to hear us, your microphone is unmuted and you can go ahead and present yourself.
Hello, my name is Maria. I'm from Mexico. I am an economist, but I work at an NGO that protects and rescues girls from sexual trafficking here in Mexico. I know. And that's it. Thank you very much for the opportunity of being here.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for being with us today. We're going to go right to the next person. We have Pedro Medina. Pedro, if you're able to hear us, your microphone is unmuted. Go ahead. Hello, Pedro, can you hear us? Hello, Pedro? Okay, we're going to go back to you. Just let me know if you're able to make your intervention. We're going to go ahead and go to the next participant, Stephanie Mbida. Stephanie, if you're able to hear us, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Stephanie Mbida. I'm a 31-year-old female. I'm a Canadian national, but I was born in Cameroon, where I spent all my childhood. The name of our business is Frudan, and we are the first crowdfunding platform for young entrepreneurs. So we help entrepreneurs aged 18 to 35 years old to raise funds for their projects and their cool ideas.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you also for the video you shared with us on the Youth Voices campaign. That video has already been shared with the World Bank. So thank you so much for that. Let's go ahead and open the microphone for Ter Stufer. Ter Stufer, if you can unmute your microphone from your side, we're going to be able to hear your presentation.
Hi, so this is Terry Stauffer. And I also work for Junior Achievement. I run social media for JA Worldwide, and just really wanted to listen in today and get a taste of what was going to be happening on the 13th to the 15th.
Very much, Terry Stauffer, for being with us today, as well from Junior Achievement. It's really nice to have you guys here, and also, you know, be sure to participate to make your interventions. We're really, you know, just glad you can add something to the conversation. That would be really great. So we're almost finishing the round of introductions. We have two more. We're going to go ahead and open the microphone for William Askry. William Askry, go ahead. We're able to hear you. William Askry, are you able to hear us? Your microphone is unmuted. I'll go, sorry William, we weren't able to hear you. Just let me know when your microphone is working. We're going to go ahead and open the microphone for the other participant, and then we can go ahead go ahead and start the first intervention. Yolanda Torres, if you're able to hear me, your microphone is right now unmuted. You can go ahead and introduce yourself. Hello, Yolanda. Yolanda Torres, are you able to hear us? Hi, Yolanda, go ahead. Yolanda, are you able to hear us? Problem. We're going to go ahead and skip those last technical difficulties so we can go ahead and begin with the first intervention of this dialogue. Everyone, we're going to go right now at 10:40 a.m., 40 minutes past the hour. We're going to start with the first round of interventions. Just a quick reminder, just remember to push your raised hand button. There's this button that looks like a hand, like an open palm hand. You just need to push on that button so I can know that you want to speak. And when you push that button, I'll be able to unmute your microphone, and you can go ahead, and you have about 3 minutes to make your intervention, your first intervention. So as I was saying on the introduction to the dialogue, we're going to be the guide to this intervention, to this first intervention, is going to be the sets of questions we have here. Of course, you don't need to answer all of them. You may want to focus on only one. You may want to focus on two or on all of them. It's okay. You can also just make an intervention you have prepared earlier. It doesn't need to be just answering the questions. You can go ahead and just tell us about your story, tell us about your background, about your organization, and what you're doing to improve the lives of young people around the world. So let me just go ahead and quickly go through the questions, but just remember you don't need to answer these questions specifically. This is just a guidance, some guide to guide the conversation. So the first question is what works for whom, where, and why, and just as importantly, what doesn't work to help young people enter adulthood successfully. What must we do differently? That is the first set of questions. The second question is how can we work together with young people in their desire to have a meaningful impact on their families and broader societies. The third question is what is needed to form positive identities in youth. Of course, this varies from each individual context of a country, so that's going to be interesting to know, how it varies from different regions. Finally, the fourth question is how can we be more open to youth-driven development and ideas and to the role of young people in finding and implementing effective solutions. So this is the proposed questions for this first round of interventions. We already have some raised hands. Remember, just push the raised hand button and I'm going to unmute your microphone and you can go ahead and make your intervention. So remember that you don't really need to answer these questions. Just we want to learn about your story. We want to learn about your background. So go ahead and push that button, and I'll be able to unmute your microphone. We're gonna go ahead and do this first. This first intervention is gonna come from Tunisia, from Karim Benabdallah. Sorry, your last name is a little bit hard for me. It's Benabdallah. Karim, thank you so much for being with us today from Tunisia. He's representing Beal Conference Tunisia. You have your microphone open. Go ahead, Karim. We're listening to you.
Hello, everybody, again. And first of all, I want to thank you again for this, opportunity to meet with, international leaders. And I want to go ahead and explain, very important facts about youth that I did learn, through my some 10 years working with young people. First of all, you are not leader. Make the young people lead you. Instead, you are not going to teach them. They're gonna instead of they're gonna teach you a lot with time, and give them more freedom, to experience and try, ideas, even if you think they are, stupid or dumb or don't make sense. And that will happen with me in my organization. That many projects that have been successful thanks to ideas that at the beginning I thought, oh, this is good, it's going to work, this is really, really damn, this is stupid, but at the end it didn't work because the mind of young people are different from our mind. So again, give more opportunity to the youth to lead your way and teach you instead of going like, oh, I'm an elder, I'm gonna teach them, I have I know things and so on. So this is very important that you have to know if you are going to deal with young people. And how are you going to impact them if you don't lead them, if you don't teach them? You can impact them by showing them the right way, showing them the example, showing them the right tools, and try to put, try the innovation, their imagination to make things look much brighter. And again, if you are dealing with young people, you can't really go ahead like a conference like are doing right now today. It's just for us, but you have to try new tools, new communication tools. Just be quick has been fast, has been modern, and it has, gather young people around you and not the other way, make them, go away. Thank you.
So much, Karim. That was a great intervention. We're really happy that Bill Conference Tunisia is going to be was able to join us, and we're going to be happy to hear what you have to say on the second round of interventions. If you're looking at the screen right now, this is not a mistake. This is the picture I wanted to show you. This is where the Bill Conference Tunisia, including Karim, are at right now. They're at a beach, and they still are joining us from over there. It looked really good. It's just a couple of pictures that Karim sent me. They're over there from Tunisia. So that's Karim right there. Thank you so much for sharing with us today and for being gathered there on the beach and taking the time to be joining this dialogue. Also, very important, not only to mention the young participants from Bill in Tunisia, from Bill Conference in Tunisia. We also had an on-site youth dialogue in Paraguay. This was organized by the Youth Council. If you can see the screen, there are some pictures of that meeting. That was a great meeting. We have a report that we'll be sharing with you afterwards. And also, we did an on-site dialogue in Uganda. That's in Palisa, this village, peripheral village in Uganda, which was a great experience as well. We have one of the YBT organizers of that dialogue, Isabella Troconis. Here I just want to show you a couple of pictures of that dialogue in Uganda. So thank you so much, Karim, for that. Thank you for being there in that really looks amazing beach. And thank you for sharing with us that today. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead and go to the next intervention. Right now I have on my list Miss Delia Lisette Hueso. Delia, you have the microphone unmuted. You can go ahead and begin your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Here at the Tec de Monterrey Campus Guadalajara, we thought that the global goals are our goals for the university. So since January, we were working to develop these ideas to all the faculty. The last week, we make a kind of course for all the faculties, for all the teachers that they are working with the young people. We invited people from the Cambridge Institute for the Sustainability Leadership, and we started a conversation about stakeholders, value share, and why the leadership for the sustainability is important. Then more than 150 teachers from high school, medicine, biotechnology, engineering, management, and all the subjects of this university were talking about the 70 global goals. And we thought that the goal number 17 about partnership for the goals is one of the most important to develop these ideas and trying to share all this information for all the things that we are doing. We think that a challenge that is made with different subjects could be better and could be more sustainable. And also we think that if we are working in a system, it is more easy to achieve a goal that could support all the community, and not only in the university, also in the community around us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Delia. That was a truly great intervention. I'm sure we're going to have some reaction to that. It's great work you're doing from Mexico. Thank you once again for that. We're going to go ahead and go on to the next intervention. Mr. Isa Karambiri, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here. If you can unmute your microphone, you can go ahead and begin your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure to be a part of this conversation. And like I said, I'm Issa Karambiri, founder of Issa Karambiri Center for Development and Personal Efficiency. The question that you post by email, if I have to respond, I have to say what works for whom, where, why. I can say the training going to works, training on the leadership and positive communication for the youth people, particularly African youth, and in Africa and everywhere in the world. Because the African youth particularly doesn't start thinking in their duty to develop themselves and to develop the continent. The basic school program in Africa doesn't work efficiently to make them work for themselves and for the continent. We have to add it more. That's why I created this center to do the training with the former from everywhere in the world. We're gonna the former we come from America, Europe, Asia, to from the African youth everywhere they are. For the second question, yes, I think we can work together to show the African youth what they can do for themselves and the families and the border societies. We are already smart, the African youth are already smart and have enough resources to build the continent by politics, business sector, entrepreneur, and whatever. And say, how can be more open to youth thriving? For the fourth question, I can say the training and the financement. You both have to go together. You don't have just to finance the youth people for the project. You have also to train them. Training and financing have to go together to manage the project. So you have to train them how to manage the project, how to lead their workers, how to improve themselves and their business, and how to manage a dream for today. Today, if you have a dream today, how to manage them to build this project for your future, for your future and for the future development. Because we have today youth people today is there are the word future. So what you can do for yourself, you can do for your son who are coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Issa Karambiri. That was really inspiring words and a really good insight on the challenges faced by youth in your particular area. From our side, we do believe as well that training is a really fundamental thing to give to young people for them to get those abilities to really help themselves. This is really important. So thank you so much for sharing with us today that, and we're going to be looking forward to your second intervention. Okay, that was Issa Karambiri. We're going to go ahead and move to the next participant who's going to talk to us. His name is Carlos Carrasco. Carlos, if you're able to hear me, you can go ahead and begin your intervention. Your microphone is unmuted. Carlos, can you hear us? Okay, I don't know if your microphone is working. We're not able to hear you. So if you can try and fix your microphone, you can raise your hand again or type in your intervention on the questions tab because as of now, we're not able to hear you. So please let me know if you're able to fix the problem. Okay, we're gonna go right on to the next person. We have been waiting for Stephanie Mbida. Stephanie, I'm unmuting your microphone. Just to let Maria Felix de la Luz know, after Stephanie, you're going to be able to have your intervention, and after Maria, we're going to have Mr. Ken Avide. So, Stephanie, your microphone is unmuted. You can go ahead and begin your intervention. Stephanie, go ahead.
Thank you, Jose. Just a bit about myself. So I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship. I started my first business when I was 9 years old, and this was made possible because I was exposed to an entrepreneur. I like to call her a crazy entrepreneur, my aunt at that age. So I truly believe that the youth need to be exposed to positive stories, to show them the possibilities instead of the problems around them. We've been, and this is obviously around the world, India, El Salvador, the US, or Cameroon, young people are most of the time exposed to average stories. And I'm saying average stories because I want to stay positive, obviously, but I call that junk food. So they must have that exposure. And I'm not talking about stories of Bill Gates or anything. I'm talking about stories of simple person, ordinary people doing ordinary things in the cities, in the countries. Those stories have to be out there. So they know that, oh, the neighbor, the guy next door was able to do something simple like that. So can I? I can do this as well. So that will be my first point when we discuss what works, because I really believe that exposure works whenever you're from. You might be from Asia, Africa, Europe, or anywhere. So it does work. Now, in terms of how we can work together with young people in their desire to have a meaningful impact on their families or broader societies, it's really important that we understand that including young people in the process is important. So it's really important to get the feedback. So for example, we might have an initiative and saying, okay, we're going to do that for young people, but we're going to propose that to them. It's really important to make sure that they give the feedback and that we ask them, okay, what do you think about that? Okay, let's try this. What did you think about that? Let's implement this. Not just coming with already made, solutions that we believe works. I really do believe that that's how we can actually work together with young people so they can definitely have that meaningful impact. But it brings me back to what I said. Exposure is so important. It's so important because we notice, I'm from Cameroon, that's my background. If you go to Cameroon and you go to a lot of areas where there's a lot of poverty, and you talk to young people there, and you ask them about the future, they will tell you that, okay, some of them, obviously, not all of them, some of them will tell you that, well, they believe they can do something with their life, but they don't know where to start. But looking around, we will notice that, okay, the grandfather or the old man living in the next door is actually doing something meaningful. Oh, that young lady who's like 16 years old, she's actually walking door to door and selling stuff, and she's making money out of that. And with that money, she's paying for her tuition fees or stuff like that. I mean, that would be my emphasis for this first round of interventions, is really to make sure that we get the stories out there. We make sure that they hear those stories, and they don't have to be Michael Jackson stories or Madonna stories, that we're getting those small, impactful stories so they understand it's one step at a time. Success is never overnight, but it's one step at a time. I can start by selling, and this is my experience as entrepreneur, I can start by selling nail polish, but tomorrow I can be the next Oprah, for example. But we have to understand that the focus has to be on the next right move. What is the one thing I can make today that can have an impact on my life tomorrow? And I will stop there. Thanks, Jose.
Thank you, Stephanie. That was a really powerful intervention. We thank you for that. We're looking forward to your second intervention as well. Okay, we're going to move on to the next person. I'm going to unmute the microphone for Maria Felix de la Luz. After Maria, we're going to have the intervention of Ken. And after Ken, we're going to have the intervention of the founder of Power African Youth, Mr. Junior Makinda. Maria Felix, go ahead. Your microphone is unmuted. We're ready for you.
Thank you very much, Jose. Well, I think one of the main issues facing youth nowadays is violence. And I see this every day. Sex trafficking is very linked to violence against women and girls, and, well, kids in general. And I think for tackling violence, we have to make programs, education programs. We have to make social programs. We are a generation that is very participative, very connected, but at the same time, we are very apathic. We don't really get to know what is happening in other parts of the world or how can we solve these problems. And poverty, violence, they're very related to education, to the lack of social education. When you go to small towns in developing countries, they are having a lot of issues with human rights and recognizing women's rights. And I think, well, the first step to change the future and to involve the youth and in changing the world is giving them another kind of education, an education that involves social issues such as gender equality. In the organization where I work, we make several courses and several programs in which we work with families and with communities, and we try to enforce those links of saying that we're all part of the same, and what happens to other people also affects us. Because these people need opportunities, but they also need to be conscious about what is happening and how their actions are affecting other people. Many times, like even young people from universities, from good universities, are the ones causing harm to other young people their own age, and they don't know it. So we're trying to work on being conscious that we're all part of something, and when you do something like buying sex, you're affecting someone that is your same age, they deserve the same things as you deserve, but you're not being conscious of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Maria Felix de la Luz, for your intervention and touching on some really important problems that youth are facing today everywhere in the world. This is not a particular problem of one region. Quite the opposite is a problem that we see in every region in the world. So it's very important to shine light on that. Thank you, Maria Felix. We're going to go ahead and open the microphone for Ken Anvire. Just before I open the microphone for Ken Anvire, afterwards we're going to have the participation of Junior Makinda. And after that, I have waiting Ms. Lynn Gonsalves. She will also be able to participate after Junior Makinda. Just to the people that have recently logged in, just to want to let you know, if you want to make your intervention, there is a button you're going to be able to see on the control panel. Is the raised hand button. It looks like an open palm hand. You need to push that button. Once you push it, I will know that you want to make an intervention, and I will unmute your microphone so that you can go ahead and make that intervention. So thank you. Mr. Ken Anvire, your microphone is unmuted, and we're ready to hear you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jose. I'm going to try to answer your question about bullet point. So the first question is about what works for whom, where, why, etc. So I truly believe and think that young people need help. Right? When I say we need help, I'm talking about mentorship, guidance. More importantly, we need to be trusted with our decision making. Right? We got to give the youth hope and believe in our dreams. Right? More often than not, we're viewed as incapable of achieving anything relevant. I'm saying this basically. I'm saying this roughly based on my experience as an African. Right? Those that have the resources tend more often than not to focus on the bad apples as opposed to the good ones, right? Again, I'm saying this because I'm coming from Africa, and I can tell you that even though the youth are an essential asset to development, there's a lack of adequate structures to help them realize their potential, right? What needs to be done is differently is seriously develop solutions to allow the youth to get out of their ordeals, especially poverty. You know, when we need to understand that, you know, and recognize that the youth are enthusiastic, creative, driven, and are able to develop innovative solutions to our worldly problems. Right. I appreciate films like this one and the previous that I participated in, such as the Pay initiatives, because we're talking about by youth, ideas, innovation by youth for the youth, right? We are the one that are actually involved with these ideas. Right? We're coming up with the ideas with solutions, and we're actually trying to bring in problems, and we're trying to fix the problem by ourselves with the help of the right institution, which is great, right? We are effective agents of change, right? Like, we're actively participating in the 2030 UN 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, right? And we contribute. Like, I even have a project that I'm working on involving waste and compost that I presented at the Pay initiative, and then and I'm still looking for backers to help me with this. So we basically just need the proper financial and logistical support because we have the ideas. We just need the right people behind us, right? We need to have access to the resources, and it's very key that our uniqueness is valued. Okay, like, again, as I said earlier, we need to realize that everybody's different, right? We need to differentiate the bad apples from the good, because saying all youth are bad or youth are not doing anything positive is not true. If we're given the opportunities and sincerely believe in us, I can guarantee you that you'll see great outcomes out of that, and that's a fact. So to finish, I think that, you know, the ideas that need to be developed need to emphasize global public-private partnership for the youth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kenavide, talking to us about not only his project but the challenges facing to entrepreneurs who are in urgent need not only of training but also of, you know, backing, support. And this is financial support and also institutional support. This is a very important topic that should be addressed. Young entrepreneurs are often ready to implement new solutions, innovative solutions to problems facing young people all over the world, but sometimes they don't have the right tools, the right incentives, or even the financial capabilities to implement them. So thank you so much, Ken, for that. After that, we're going to go ahead and open the microphone to Mr. Junior Makinda. Mr. Junior Makinda, he is the founder, along with Felicia, who is also joining us today. Felicia, if you're hearing me, maybe you can also talk a little bit more about Pay and any other initiative that you want on the second round. And this round, we can open the floor to Junior Makinda, the founder of Pay Initiatives. This is Power African Youth. They're doing some great work with the African diaspora here in the United States. So Junior, your microphone is now open. If you're able to unmute your microphone from your side, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you. Hi again, everyone. As Jose said, I'm Junior Makinda, the founder of Power African Youth Initiative. So what we do is basically trying to get all young entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs of the diaspora, and to connect them to resources. And when I mean resources, it's actually organization, entities, and people that are able to help them bring their project for Africa to fruition. Because where I'm coming from Cameroon, we have our main issue, and this basically all the issues that young African entrepreneurs have is access to funding and mentorship. So my own experience back home in Cameroon, I started my own business, not only one business, several businesses, and also I was the founder of a nonprofit organization back home. But we face the same issues all the time. You may have the greatest idea, but when it comes time to implement that idea, we do not have access to fundings. And this is the main issue that almost all of us have back home. So moving
to the United States, I realized that we keep having the same issues. We don't have access to funding. We don't even have access to people that can support us. I mean, you have a great idea, but you have no one to listen to you. The first thing is when you have an idea, you wish someone can listen to you and guide you. So the first thing that is like even before morning is those people that guide you and say, okay, the next step you should take. So for me, as a first solution or recommendation is to make sure that young African entrepreneurs, I would specifically talk about African because for the realities in different countries is different, or let me say in different continents. And I'll talk about Africa especially. So the first thing we need right now is to have a platform and can be, have a space, an open space where he can come and say, this is my idea, and I would like, you to hear about it and help me to implement it. That's the first one. We need to have that platform, and this is a job that Pay African Youth is already doing, has started doing last month in April when we launched our first edition of Power African, the Entrepreneur Drive. So the next step will be to create a fund, because there's no innovation. Innovation has no meaning if there's no money to follow. Money has to follow. So there's an urgent need to build a fund for youth project, and that fund should be also managed by youth. The World Bank can make that fund available, but I think we youth, we also have the possibility to build our own fund. But for that, we need expertise. We need those big entities, the think tank like the World Bank, the United Nations, to support us in putting together that fund. Because the fund thrives, the fund fosters the creativity. Because when you have an idea and you know that, okay, I can go somewhere, pitch my idea, and I'm going to have the funding for that idea, then you're more likely to create. So this is the only way we can stimulate the creativity on young people. The context is different in the US, because in the US they say you have to dream big, but in Africa when you say you have a dream, they say you're just a dreamer. So the context is different, and this is something that we need to grow the mentality, and this can only be done, if we have that platform already. So my two recommendations for the conclusion will be: first, have a platform where we can express ourselves, and secondly, build a fund. And the fund is not only the money coming from the World Bank, but we ourselves, we are able to build that fund. That's basically my 2 cents for this first round. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Junior Makinda. It's truly great hearing from you, from your experience in helping young African entrepreneurs, and we totally agree with everything you just said today, and we're going to be looking forward to your next intervention. And also on the next round, we would like to invite Felicia to make an intervention if she's available. So thank you, Junior, for that. Okay, I have a question here coming on the chat from Stephanie Mbida. She's asking if there's a hashtag to tweet key lines of the participants, and yes, there is a hashtag. So before we go on to Lynn Gonsalves, she's going to be the next intervention. Let me just skip right into the hashtag so you can check them out. You're going to be able to see them on your screen right now. Are those in the bottom? You can also follow us on your participation on social media. On Twitter, our handle is @YABTS. Facebook, it's facebook.com/YABTDC. That is also our website, YABT.net. Our Instagram account, it's YABTDC. And the hashtags we're working with, it's hashtag Youth Voices, and the other one is hashtag, Youth in Dev. That's the second hashtag. The second hashtag is being used a lot by the World Bank, so it's always good to also include it, the Youth in Dev hashtag. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's give the word to Lynn Gonsalves. Lynn, if you're able to hear me, you're going to be able to make your intervention. Just remember, guys, we're about to finish the first round of intervention, so please just keep it under 3 minutes. Lynn, you have the word, and after that, we're going to give to Diego Jacobo. So, Lynn, go ahead. We're ready for you.
So first off, thank you for everyone on the call so far who shared their thoughts. It's been really helpful, and I've been taking a lot of notes. As mentioned, I work for Junior Achievement in Central Ontario, so in Toronto, and I manage one of our after-school programs called Company Program, which is an 18-week startup program for high school students. And what I work with, I've been working for the organization for about 5 years, and before that was volunteering for the organization, and I've had an opportunity to really see how programs like this really help young people, and I think that's one of the key things that I wrote down that I wanted to share was I think it's helping youth realize their potential. And so this program really matches a group of young people, about 20 to 30, with a group of mentors, about 6 to 10 mentors. And I've seen that how the importance of the mentorship, not just in helping them understand how to start up a business, but more in terms of investing specifically in them and their skill sets, and the importance of that building of confidence. Many of our youth, although they have opportunities, they don't really drive towards setting the bar for themselves because their confidence is so low. And I think I've seen this in young people here where it leads to mental health issues, depression, etc. And so I think helping young people realize their potential through mentorship is one of the positives that I've seen through this program and how it's helped them. And opportunities like this, calls like this, where there's a chance for cross-collaboration, I think is really important. Anytime our students have had the chance to work with other young people across the globe or hear their stories, I think it's really inspiring to them. It's important for them to see that their voice matters. And so for me, the really big things were collaboration, open discussion, mentorship, and obviously providing the experience, which is through the program I've seen that the students have the chance to get that startup experience, run their own business for 18 weeks, and really work with mentors, and so they're developing those skill sets, which are things that aren't necessarily always learned in a classroom setting. And it's also an opportunity for those youth who maybe aren't as academically inclined but have other skills to offer, where they're able to see that there is a potential for them in the future, that they're not boxed or categorized into something. I know someone was talking about, bad apples, and I think that's really important to understand and ensure that all youth have access to programs and opportunities like this.
Great. Thank you so much, Lynn. That was really interesting. I know Junior Achievement is doing some great stuff, and we will be more than glad to connect everyone who's here with your programs. So in that sense, this is part of the next steps that we're gonna revisit towards the end of the presentation. I would like, when I do a follow-up email with you guys, to facilitate a link where everyone can just go in and type down your contact information from this dialogue. So you can just put your name, the organization where you work, and your contact email. So if anyone who wants to get in touch with someone else and this dialogue can do it, and you can really, just a great opportunity to network internationally. So thank you, Lynn, for that. We're looking forward to your next intervention, and congratulations on the great work you're doing over there in Toronto for Junior Achievement. So let's go to the last participant of this first intervention, Diego Jacobo. He's joining us from El Salvador. Diego, go ahead. We're able to hear you now.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. Do you hear me? Okay. Now, yes, I would like to make my intervention actually regarding the questions that we were, that we were given that we could talk about. And actually, what I'm about to say, it goes a lot in line to what Lynn was just mentioning right now. Now, the questions I would like to answer them regarding the youth that does not have a lot of opportunities, the ones that the term bad apples was, getting around. So, that sort of youth. Now, regarding the first question, It says what works, for whom, where, why. Now, and for these persons in particular, there are three things that I would like to mention that definitely work, that definitely promote their development, both personally and as part of the society. Now, first of all, it's education. I mean, it's well understood, but it's just important to keep reminding us that education presents opportunities to thrive, to go beyond their context. It gives them, it gives people in general, whether they're young, whether they're adults that did not get an education when they were young, it gives them the opportunity to go beyond what they are right now. And that is why education is so important. And also opportunities, because once people that have an education or that not, once they are ready to go into the work life, and there was this this thing about the transition from young people into adulthood. So when they go through that transition, if there are not opportunities in their context, and I'm talking here specifically about El Salvador, that is what I know, there's a lot of people who graduate, who have college education or this high school education, but there are not enough opportunities to work and to provide themselves of chances to develop personally and professionally. So opportunities, well, and what happens when there are not enough opportunities is this phenomenon, in Spanish is called fuga de cerebros. In English would be something like, when all the brilliant people go away because they are not able to work in their countries, in their environment, so they have to go somewhere else. So that is talent that is being wasted. It's going somewhere places else. And then we talk about migration, and that it's a whole nother deal. But also another thing we must keep in mind is the desire to make a positive impact. Now, since I am talking about these people that does not have a lot of opportunities both to get an education or have a decent job, that gets a decent wage, then what these people think about is just getting by, just getting by each day, how they're gonna make ends meet, sorry, and that prevents them from thinking about how they make a positive impact. So that is affected by a toxic environment. What that means, again, I'm talking here about experience. In El Salvador, we have a lot of violence, gang-related violence, and what that happens is that people just sort of gets numb. They no longer see this whole violent aspect of life here as a normality. It's been seen as something, as normal. It's just the way it's been. But that has to do, and also about the question regarding positive identities. The values to realize that what we're living right now, the circumstances are not normal. Violence is not the way society has got to be at all. And again, opportunities to thrive, it gives people motivation, it gives them hope, drive to go beyond their current context, and promote and support entrepreneurship. It's also very important for people to feel that they can make positive impacts and to realize their full potential. That's what I would like to finish with. And just a little thought here, that this youth, the one that does not have a lot of opportunities must not be seen as a liability. It must be seen as a resource that has to be nurtured, because that's what they are. And yes, that's what I would like to to focus the debate on. And again, thanks very much for the opportunity.
Diego, touching on really important facts. He mentioned a little bit about what the phenomenon called brain drain, which is when the best people, young people that are able to actually make an impact in their country have to leave the country in order to look for new opportunities elsewhere. So it's really damaging for a country, for a community, and it's something that we do need to address. That's a really interesting perspective that Diego was giving us from El Salvador. That is sadly one of the most violent countries in the world. So with that, we will conclude the first round of interventions. We this has been really good. The participation of people from different parts of the world has been really rich. We have here an intervention through the chat from Amani Al-Nasairat. Amani, I'm not sure if your microphone is working, but if it's not working, we can give it a try. If it's not working, I can read your intervention. So, Amani, we're gonna try your microphone if you're able to speak. Your microphone is open right now. Hello, Amani? Okay, no problem. So the microphone is not working. Just type down the question if you're able to fix your microphone, but I will go ahead and read your intervention. So this intervention is from Amani Al-Nasairat. He says, "Hi everyone. From my experience with Generations for Peace, Jordan." So Amani is writing from Jordan. This is a peace-building conflict transformation organization, and I'm reading this textually. So when I say I, this is Amani speaking. He says, "I noticed that young people need training to build on the skills that they have and to support them with a long-term sustainable project that they design to help their communities. This support could be through professional mentoring, advanced training, and in-kind value to support their projects." So he's mentioned a little bit about the support they need, not specifically, not only financial support, but in-kind support from other organizations. So that's really interesting, Amani. Let me just go ahead and finish your statement. He also says, these projects are peace-building programs that are designed carefully to support the needs of the communities in order to achieve a direct result on the target groups and have a real impact on the broader community. Furthermore, sharing this successful stories and lessons is a great way to learn from the global community. Amani, thank you so much for intervention. Please let me know, Amani from Jordan, please let me know if your microphone is working so we can go ahead and also unmute your microphone. We're going to go ahead and pass on to the second round of interventions. Remember, the second round of interventions, which we're going to start right now. Even though you have already talked, you can go ahead and raise your hand again. To the people that are just joining us, there is a raised hand button. It's an open palm button. You can press that button and I will know that you want to speak, so I will be able to make a queue and unmute your microphone so you can go ahead and make your intervention through the microphone. So as of now, you can start pressing that button again so I can begin unmuting your microphone. We're going to begin the second round of interventions. This second round of interventions will serve for us to react. We want on the second round participants to react to the stories that you have heard, to the experiences and recommendations shared by other participants. You can also ask new questions to other participants, or maybe just address what they were talking about and say, hey, I agree with you on this, but I disagree with you on this. Just a dialogue between you and also not only that, but also something that you wanted to say before that you weren't able to say it, or something that you want to add that isn't specifically the questions, just sharing your experience. This second round of intervention is the place to do it. It doesn't matter that you already talked before. We're looking for this new interaction between you guys, and also for you to be able to also share what you weren't able to share on the first round. So let me begin while you start pressing on those raised hand buttons. An intervention we have all the way from Grenada. This is in the Caribbean. So Akeda Ventur from Grenada. I'm going to read textually what she's typing down. She said, Caribbean youth are now being introduced to entrepreneurship. We are now shifting the culture from working for large companies and getting into the public life. Caribbean youth working for themselves and supporting others in their communities. She also says our policymakers need to also be in tune with this new global thread. So that is a great point coming from Grenada, this shift that's happening from young entrepreneurs. You know, they're just starting to become entrepreneurs and seeing entrepreneurship as a viable option to combat youth unemployment. This is a really interesting shift that's happening in the Caribbean, and Akeda Ventura from Grenada, we thank you for that. So we're going to go ahead and begin this new round of interventions. Remember, you just need to push the raised hand button. I'll unmute your microphone, and you can go ahead and just talk a little bit about the background, you can even refer to the last questions we were talking about in the first intervention. We really just want to hear you, and also it's going to be open for the people that have already spoken, and that's why we're making this new round, the second round of interventions. So the first person that's gonna be talking on the second round is Maria Felix de la Luz. Maria Felix, whenever you're ready, your microphone is unmuted, and thank you once again for participating. Go ahead. Maria Luz, you need to unmute your microphone from your side. Once you unmute your microphone, we're going to be able to hear you. Hello, Maria Felix. If you're able to hear us, you have your microphone muted, so we're not able to hear you. To unmute it, you just need to click on the microphone icon on your control panel. Okay, so Maria Felix just told us she's a little bit, she cannot attend right now. So Maria Felix, don't worry, just raise your hand once again whenever you're ready, and we're going to be able to open your microphone again. So that being said, the floor is open to anyone who wants to make a second intervention. As I previously said, you don't need to have made already an intervention. This could be your first intervention. We're just looking forward to you sharing some reactions to what you heard, and maybe talking a little bit about the programs you're leading in your home country, talking a little bit about your background. It's really open to just great dialogue. I'm gonna show you on the screen the last set of questions we had for the first round, and you can go ahead and also use those questions to make this second intervention. We wait for the next intervention. Just remember, you just push the raised hand button. I will know that you want to talk, and I'll open the microphone for you. I'll remind you guys that toward the end we're having this follow-up email. In that follow-up email, I'm going to share with you the registration link for the people that are able to attend the Global Youth Forum in Washington, D.C. We're going to talk a little bit about this towards the end, but remember, it's very important that you register today. That's one of the first things, because today the link it's only going to be open until today. So if you're trying to attend the forum, it's really important that you register today. I'm going to share with you that link immediately after we finish this session. But if you're trying to make sure that you're going to be able to make it, I'm going to share with you the link on the chat. On the chat of this, you're going to see a box that says chat. When you go there, you can go ahead and click on that link, and it's going to take you to the registration form. So you're looking at that form on my screen right now. This is a really important part. There's two things you need to remember. First thing, when you fill out the form, on this first question that says who nominated you to the forum, you need to type down Young America's Business Trust so that they can identify you as one of the participants of the forum. And also remember that today is the last day that you're going to be able to register. So if you're looking to maybe applying to some funds or getting some help from someone else to attend to the forum in terms of getting finance to travel, the first step you need to do is fill out this form and go ahead and get that first letter that says that you're accepted to the forum and that the dates and everything and all the relevant information you're going to need. So I shared that on the chat right now. I'll also be sending it with you on the email. So let's go ahead. Sorry I took a little bit of time to that for that, but we're going to go ahead and continue on the second round of interventions. We're going to have right now Stephanie Embida, and after Stephanie, we're going to have Diego. So Stephanie, if you're ready, your microphone is unmuted, and just go ahead and begin.
Great. I just wanted to highlight 3 points. I call that powerful sentences that I heard so far. The first point is from, I believe her name is Maria. She spoke about violence, and we tend to forget the importance of peace, because reality is nothing can happen in a violent environment, right? So that's the first point I wanted to make. The second bullet point I have is what you said, Jose, when you said entrepreneurship becomes a viable solution to combat unemployment. So just allow me to steal that sentence from you, please. It's so well said. So that's the second bullet point. And the third point I wanted to make is what Junior Mekinda said when he said innovation has no meaning if there are no means to make it happen. That's my 3 takeaways of the day. Thank you. Hello? Hello?
Oh, can you hear me, Stephanie?
Yeah, but I don't know if you guys heard me or not.
Yes, we did. My microphone was on mute. Sorry for that. So thank you for the intervention. Of course, you can always use my phrase. I'm going to steal Junior's phrase because it was really good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was really good. Thank you for that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open the microphone to Diego. Diego, you have the floor right now. Go ahead.
Okay, hi everyone again. Thanks, for the opportunity to again speak. Yes, I would like to briefly talk, comment actually about what Felicia said. Felicia from Cameroon, because actually her intervention was very empowering. I mean, it was a great intervention. She mentioned that youth needs to see positive stories, and that not only there have to be, like great stories of grandeur, like Bill Gates, of these people that we sort of see like, above a pedestal. No, they don't have to be that sort of great stories of incredible success. They can be above than average stories of people of our context, of our environment, who are successful in their own very way, and who are happy with their life they're leading. They had an idea, they had an entrepreneurship initiative. They were successful, and that are and she mentions those are the sorts of stories that we as young people should be looking at and should be presenting to other young people, and that's a very empowering thought. And I was when I was hearing it, I was very eager to talk about it in my first intervention, but then I remembered this second one was about the comments, and because I just thought it was a great idea, to get a feedback from the young people, to make them see that success is not something out of this world. It is something very possible, and not only possible, it's happening next door. It's happening within our community. People that we know are successful in their very own way, and that's the sort of story that gives people hope and gives them the drive to thrive, to go beyond where they are right now. And she also mentioned success is one step at a time, and again, it's a great phrase, a great thought of empowerment to think that whether you're starting a new initiative, whether you're being a new part of something that is already established, anything that you're just starting to try, then that's a thought that you must have in your head. You know, every young man or woman, or pretty much everyone who starts something new, it's a very important thought to have in their mind that success does not come overnight. So you have to keep working. It's one step at a time. And again, it's a very great intervention that I heard from Felicia, and that's what I just wanted to comment upon, that I completely agree with what she said.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the reaction. That was a great intervention. Thank you, Diego. And also Stephanie, thank you for that. So let me just go ahead and make sure that we don't have any other intervention before we finish up this second round of the dialogue and go into the conclusions and next steps. If anyone wants to make another intervention, I know that we wanted to include Felicia from Pay Initiatives Junior. I'm not seeing Felicia online, so if you want to do another intervention, just let me know. I don't know if you're able to hear me right now, but just go ahead. If you want to do an intervention, you can do it right now. I would have wanted Felicia to talk, but I think she's not available at the moment. If not, we're going to go ahead and move on to the conclusions and next steps. Just let me know, anyone. Maria Felix de la Luz, let's try once again. I know you were busy before. Maria Felix, if you want to make your intervention now, you just go ahead. You can unmute your microphone and do your intervention. So go ahead.
Hi, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for before. Well, I just want to highlight that innovation is very important, but I think it is more important to make innovation social innovation. It's not like we're a different generation, and we shouldn't be focused on just making money just because of money and employment just because of employment, but we have to be very conscious. So we're going to create an enterprise, new jobs, for like a society, a community has to be very linked to human rights and to environmental issues, and new enterprises have to take this into consideration. So I think when we face innovation and when we teach kids innovation, we have to do it in a very social, with a very social perspective, and tell them that whatever they do, whatever they innovate, they have to do something good to their environment and to their surroundings. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maria Felix de la Luz. I would like to now go on to the next section. We're going to round up and finish up the dialogue. It's really been a great dialogue. We have extended about 15 minutes from the estimated time, so that's good news. Always good news to go beyond, because that shows that we had a lot of participation from you. So thank you so much, guys. If anyone, while we're finishing up, wants to do an intervention, if you want to speak, you can either type something on the questions tab, or if you don't have a working microphone, or you can push the raised hand button and I can unmute your microphone. So either way, I'll be checking out for any other intervention while we finish. So conclusions and next steps, some really important things we need to mention before we finish. Is that the participation, the on-site participation of the World Bank. As I said before, I'm going to share with you on a follow-up email the registration for those who want to attend to the forum on-site, in person. If you're able to travel to Washington, D.C., we're going to be able to support your nomination. For that, we're sharing with you the link. I have already shared the link on the chat here on this dialogue, so if you're able to check out the chat, you'll see the link there. It's a link for the form, you need to fill out that form, and really important, so that they recognize you as a participant of the forum, you need to type down on the first question that says who proposed or who invited you, you need to type down Young America's Business Trust. So they're going to be able to see that you are being part of this process. That being said, the World Bank does have the last word on who gets to participate. So you're going to be able, you're going to receive a formal confirmation letter from the World Bank, and with that letter, you're going to be able. Some people, what they do is, if they cannot really finance their own traveling, with that letter, they can go ahead and ask for government entities or from NGOs or from different people, even from private sector, to support them in the travel arrangements, and so they could come here and be part of that Global Youth Forum that's going on June 13, 14, and 15. It's going to be a 3-day forum, and we're going to be more than happy to provide that nomination for you guys. So anyone who wants to participate on site is going to be able to do it. On registering first on that link, please make sure to do it today, because the link, the open call is probably going to close today. We've been told that it's going to be closed today, so in that sense, you need to do it today. Okay, that's regarding the on-site participation. Also, for all the other people that are not going to be able to travel to Washington, D.C., we want you to also be able to enjoy the forum and to be a part of it and to see what's happening. So for that, there is a live web stream we're going to share with you on this follow-up email that I'm going to send you the link, so that you can just head to that link whenever the forum is happening, and you're going to be able to see a live feed of what's happening. So you won't be able, you're not going to miss any of the sessions. There's also an agenda for the Global Youth Forum, so you're going to be able to check out the sessions that you want to see live, and you're going to be able to check that out on the live web stream. I'm going to share that email with you. Also, regarding the other channels of participations, we remind you that we have a global online consultation. This is a short survey. This short survey won't take you more than 5 minutes, and it's going to be really helpful for us to put your inputs into writing, and we can analyze it, compile it, and then share it with the World Bank. So it's a great, effective way to get your inputs. A link to that survey, I'm going to send it to you by email, but you can also find it on the participation guide that was shared with you previous to this youth dialogue. It's a link for a survey. You're going to be able to go ahead and type down your inputs there. It's going to be great, and it's going to really help us get some wider perspective on youth youth-led activities that you're doing everywhere in every corner of the world. Last but not least, the final report. We're going to do a final report on all of this, on all this process, and we're going to publish it towards the end of June. So this is part of all this youth consultation campaign we've been doing. So we're going to be happy to share with you that towards the end of June. We invite you, we encourage you to keep participating through different channels. As I said before, we have this participation guide that's available for everyone. That I can also send that link to you. I'm going to send every single link for you. Don't worry about that. But you should already have this participation guide. You may be already familiar with it, and as you can see, we have a couple of different participation channels. We have the audiovisual material, which is where you can send us a video of you sharing your story, just telling your different experiences, and that way we can compile all these videos, and that is what we've been doing. We have around 56 videos now of people from all over the world that we're sharing with the World Bank, and they can introduce all those inputs to affect the things that will be talked about at the Global Youth Forum. We also have the Open Global Consultation, which I was talking to you about a bit earlier. That this is the survey I was talking to you about. We have on-site and online dialogues. Of course, the online dialogues is the one we're doing right now. We also encourage you to do on-site dialogues. You just get together with people discuss all these questions and just generate a report with all this inputs and send it over to us. We're going to make sure to get that report to the World Bank, and we're going to include it also in our final report. So on this participation guide, you're going to see some tools that are going to help you in organizing an on-site dialogue. And finally, the conversation on social media. We said before when Stephanie asked the hashtags we're using. One is Youth Voices hashtag. The other one is Youth in Dev. I'm going to show that on our screen right now. These are the two hashtags that we're looking for you to introduce to your social media interactions. We're really happy to just connect with you guys on the different social media platforms. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this excellent dialogue. Also to remind you that this was recorded, and we're going to be sharing the recorded version of the dialogue with you, so you can go ahead and revisit not only what you talked about, but what others talked about, and you can also share it with different people. Just telling people, hey, listen, I participated in this dialogue. Here's my intervention. Check it out. It's just a great way to connect with other people around the world. Last but not least, also, I will include on that follow-up email a Google spreadsheet where you can gonna be able to just log in your name, your organization where you work, and your contact email, so that everyone who participated here, if you wanna, maybe Stephanie wants to connect with Junior, or this different kinds of, it's always important to make this network of people that you might never know. They might really end up working on some great stuff. You're all really relevant professionals in your field, so in that sense it's really important to someone from Grenada, someone from Cameroon, someone from Canada. This connections, this networks is really important, and it's one of the best things that comes out of this types of dialogues. So we thank everyone who participated today. We had people from Cameroon, Burkina Faso, Grenada, El Salvador, Tunisia, Ivory Coast, the United States, Canada, Mexico, Argentina, all these places. It was great having you guys today. We thank each and every one of you for your participation. We hope we continue this engagement. And once again, thank you so much for being with us. We're looking forward to seeing you here at the Global Youth Forum, and also seeing you on the different channels on social media and on the live web stream. So thank you so much. Keep an eye out for that follow-up email I will be sending to you today. We thank you so much for your participation. Have a good day, and we hope to see you soon. Goodbye.